It's a beautiful morning out here this morning. It's about 7:30 a.m. You won't be able to see it. It's not far away, but the camera elongates the perspective. But there's a deer just walking about in the grass. You may be able to see it moving about just where those yellow flowers are, where the shadow goes into the sunlight. And there's a deer there. It's just shook itself, and it's a beautiful morning. It's about 7:30. Oh, can you see it with its little antlers sticking up? What a beautiful little... There he goes. Boom, boom, boom. What a beautiful morning. Look at that. It's great to be alive. Oh, there's another deer there, right in front of us. Oh, with lots of them today. Can you see it? It's not far away, about 50 feet away from us. There's lots of them today, but we have to walk up a path that goes very close to it, so it will scoot away into the bushes. There it goes. Now this may sound a little different than it is when I did the introduction, because I forgot to turn the microphone on, but now I have, and I can't be bothered doing the introduction again. Molly was going in a completely different direction. She stayed in bed this morning. It's about 7:30. She stayed in bed, but now she's running around like a little one. She loves this kind of weather. It's cool. The sky is blue. There's lots of contrails and the grass is wet. And I've got a pair of walking sandals on that I've had for years. And my feet are wet through. It's a lovely feeling. Now I did a video, my last video was about spending less, but I don't want it to come across as promoting austerity. Let me give you an example of what I'm trying to tell you about. I love cooking, and if I pour myself a glass of wine and I go into the kitchen and I put some music on, or I put a talk radio program on, or I put an audio book on, or whatever I put on, or I do this in silence, I don't want to be making gruel, do I? I don't want to be making beans on toast. We aren't talking austerity. If I go into the kitchen to cook, I will buy whatever ingredients I need, and I will buy the best ingredients I need, because this is all part of it. We are not looking at an austere lifestyle here. We are looking at getting rid of the things that don't bring us joy and peace and happiness. And all this feeds back into a video I did a couple of months ago. Go and watch it. I think it was How Hobbies Save Your Sanity. It was quite a popular one. Let's revisit hobbies, how important they are, and how important they are to your well-being and to the well-being of the people around you, to your mental health, to your physical health. There is no downside with hobbies. Hobbies are fabulous. Not all hobbies are inexpensive. Some hobbies can be incredibly expensive. I'm into photography. That can empty your bank account in 5 minutes. But many hobbies are quite inexpensive. And this is why I say that slow living and peaceful living and minimalist living is not a cult. It's all down to the individual. Everybody's circumstances, hello Molly, everyone's circumstances are different. Some people can afford to spend more. Some people choose to spend more. Some people just get a buzz out of spending less. So it's up to you. It's down to the individual. But many hobbies can be inexpensive. Many hobbies can be free. What happens when you give something up in your life? Anything that involves time, it creates a vacuum. It creates a time vacuum that needs filling. And it will be filled. It just will. The laws of the universe say that if you create a vacuum in your life, it's got to be filled. And what do you fill it with? I'll tell you what you don't want to fill it with. You don't want to create a vacuum by giving up something for that vacuum to be filled with negativity. That is unproductive and destructive, and this is where hobbies come in. Hobbies serve a fabulous, useful purpose. Not only do they give you joy, not only do they keep your mind going, not only do they keep your fingers going, whatever you choose, not only do they keep you healthy, physically healthy, but they keep your mind occupied. They go some way to preventing negativity coming into your life. Hobbies are the most incredibly important things. You think about it, you go through the day, you work, you go home, you do your chores, you do your family chores, it gets late at night, you go to bed, you fill the time between all that work, watching television, just sitting. How often have you sat watching television and then you realise that you don't know what you've been watching because things have crept into your mind? Usually those are negative, and they're negative because life itself promotes negativity, because life itself is built around pressure. Society dictates that pressure is good. It's like this work ethic. Pressure is good. Got to go out there, make money. No, pressure isn't good at all. I suppose a certain amount of healthy pressure keeps your wits going, but it isn't healthy. Pressure killed my dad. He died at 50 of a heart attack. He was a head teacher. He was a lay reader. He was a church treasurer. He was one of those people, like my mum has said to me, you must learn to say no. Because I'm one of those people who can't say no. If somebody says, will you do this? I just automatically say yeah. And then afterwards I'm thinking, oh, I wish I hadn't said that. But pressure is not good. My dad, he was asked, the more he did, the more people asked him to do. And everybody said, I can't believe Tom, he had such a smile on his face all the time. Yes, he did. But there was a lot going on behind that smile. He was a lovely, gentle, beautiful man who couldn't do enough for the world. And it cost him his life at 50. Pressure is not healthy. And one of the greatest vents in the world for pressure is hobbies. And like I say, hobbies don't have to be expensive. Where's Molly? Oh, she's there. Hobbies don't have to be expensive. They can be inexpensive. They can be whatever you want to do. A hobby is very non-specific. It's just something to fill time. A hobby may be knitting, painting, photography, cycling, walking, climbing, whatever to fill the time. It may be twiddling your thumbs. It may be poking yourself in the side of the head. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you want to do. You can walk around looking at the sky if you want to. If that's what you want to do, do it. But you've got to find something to fill that vacuum, that hole left, because it will. Everything you have done in the past that you don't do now has created a vacuum where negativity can come in. Negativity is insidious. It's like negativity is almost promoted by society. How much good news do you see on the media? How much good news compared to bad news? It's 90% bad news. And that bad news is put there because it promotes a reaction. It promotes emotion. That's the reason you watch telly and you listen to the radio or the news, because you almost want to hear the bad news because it feeds into your emotions and gives you something to get worked up about. It's almost like a drug. It's almost like it releases endorphins. Bad news almost gives you something to feel pious and self-righteous about, doesn't it? Because you will hear bad news and you will see bad news and you will say, that isn't me, because I'm a virtuous person and I wouldn't do that. It's feeding into your emotions, and the way we combat this, by all means, keep abreast of the news, but try to see it, try to disseminate it and try to get rid of the bullshit. It's difficult because bullshit merchants are very, very clever. But one of the ways around this, hobbies. If you don't do a hobby, look for a hobby. Look for just drawing, painting, writing. I'm a great advocate for writing, knitting, sewing, cycling, football, running, walking, anything at all. Even cleaning. If you find cleaning therapeutic, if you find ironing therapeutic, then do it. Don't see it as a chore. If you actually like doing it, and there's a lot of people like doing it because they get a great feeling out of taking something that's all crumpled and coming away with a beautiful, well-pressed garment. And that's brilliant. Yeah, wish I could do that, but I can't because I'm useless. But whatever, do it. Fill that vacuum. When I come across as some kind of weird hippie guru, I know that. I watch my videos as well, and a lot do. That's just because I'm pouring out my thoughts. None of this is written, none of this is scripted. I get up in the morning, come out, turn my camera on and just riff. I just waffle and say whatever comes into my head. I'm one of these kind of people who can just talk rubbish forever. But I'm not some kind of hippie guru. I'm just your Joe Soap in the street coming from Wigan, the industrial northwest of England, Terrace Rose. That's all I've ever known. Well, no, that's wrong. That's not all I've ever known because we lived in quite a nice area. So, but I spent a lot of my time when I've been on my own in Terrace Rose, in fairly rough areas, but surrounded by nice, genuine people. So I'm not a hippie guru. I'm just trying to not tell you what to do, but trying to give you a little bit of an alternative thing to think about. Do you get where I'm coming from? And at the moment, I'm saying, think about getting a hobby. Think about getting several hobbies. Thinking about filling negative time with positivity. We are hopefully going to fill the rest of the day with positivity. We're going to walk out here. Listen to the birds over my head. We're going to walk out here in the sunshine and the dapple light coming through the trees. Then we're going to go home and there are things to do. Go for another walk. But I'm going to fill every negative moment with positivity. I'm going to try to anyway. I'm going to try to fill the gaps in my time. I'm going to try not to give myself time to sit and ponder and let my thoughts go into negative, dark places. Doesn't always work. We aren't infallible. But we can try. Try to be positive. Negativity doesn't work. Get a hobby to fill that vacuum in time that you've created by starting your journey into slow living, into peaceful living, because you've given up the bad things. You've given up the negative things, so don't let negativity fill that space. Fill it with positivity. And you will be a happy little bunny. We're going to carry on. It's very still. It's beautiful. What a beautiful day. We have to make the most of them in the UK because we don't get many. Anyway, kids, we shall see you all on the flip. Peace and love.